everybody. Welcome back to the Body Wisdom with Dr. Michele podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Michele, and today we're talking about the healthy habit of meditation. I may use meditation or sitting in silence interchangeably, so pretty much mean the same thing. So in terms of meditation, there's a lot of things to think about because a lot of people have tried meditation in the past, or they say they've tried it in the past and it didn't work for them. I hear a lot of people say, I can't meditate, I can't silence my mind keeps going and going. All I can think about is all the things I need to do, my to-do list, all kinds of comments like that when we talk to new people about the habit of meditation. So let's just put that all aside for a moment, and whether you've tried meditation in the past and it didn't work for you, or you've never tried it before because you think you can't do it, I want to talk to you today about some tips and tricks that might help you get started or how to bring it back into your life if you haven't been doing it for a while. So there's a lot of different types of meditation, and first I want to start with what meditation doesn't have to look like. So a lot of people think that it looks like someone sitting down with their legs cross-legged, with their eyes closed, sitting upright for 20 minutes or for an hour. And some people have even been told that they have to do it for at least 20 minutes a day, or they're not going to get the full benefits of meditation. Well, that's not actually true. There's been studies that have shown that people that meditate for even 1 minute a day, but they do it consistently every day, still end up with a lot of the health and wellness benefits as people that meditate for longer periods of time each day. So that should already tell you that it doesn't necessarily matter how many minutes you do it, as long as you're doing it every day, or most days. And it doesn't have to be sitting upright, sitting with your legs crossed, after you've done your yoga. It doesn't have to look like that, but it definitely can look like that for a lot of people. Some people prefer to do it lying down. I know several people that have told me that. Some people do a moving meditation, so they'll do it while they're on a walk, while they're on a hike, while they're outside doing a different type of slow moving practice. Some people do it sitting upright in a chair. Some people do it sitting on the floor. There's different ways you can do it, and whatever works for you is the right way to do it. So in terms of what kinds of meditations there are, sometimes when you're a beginner, the easiest way to ease into it is with a guided meditation. Now, a guided meditation has various forms. It can be a meditation app that you download on your phone, and you can click on different ones every day. You can do the same one over and over every single day. That's what I did when I started with meditation. I found one that I really liked. It was a 10-minute meditation. I used to do it before going to bed because I had trouble sleeping. And I would lie down, I would put the same one on every single night, and every single night I would fall asleep before it finished. I would get so relaxed that I would fall asleep. Now, some people say, well, that's not really meditation if you're falling asleep, and that's fine. But for me, it worked, and that's how I got started with it. I don't use guided meditations that much anymore. I use them from time to time, and I don't use them for falling asleep, but that's how I started with it. And the different apps that are out there, there's so many of them. There's Headspace, there's Omvana, there's Breathe, there's Calm. There's a ton of them out there. So you can really just experiment with some. You can go on YouTube and search for guided meditations, and sometimes it's just an audio clip and sometimes it's a video, but obviously you don't have to watch the video. You can just listen to the audio. You can put your headphones in and listen to it at night. You can do it on your lunch break. You can do it in your car before you go into a meeting or before you go to work. And you don't have to do one for 20 minutes or 30 minutes or an hour. You can do a 10-minute one like I used to do. You can do a 3-minute one. You can even do 1 minute. Like I was saying, you're still going to get the health benefits no matter how long it is, as long as you're doing it on a consistent basis. So with the guided meditations, sometimes it's a person talking you through a scene. Like they might say something like, okay, close your eyes, breathe deeply, and just continue breathing deeply while I talk to you. Now, imagine yourself sitting on a beach or in your favorite place that you feel most calmly. Or they might say, walk you through a scene, like imagine we're walking on the beach together and then we see the waves, and they're just continually talking you through a scene. So those are a couple of ways that I've seen it done. There's also one that I used to listen to from Deepak Chopra where he was just having you focus on your breathing, and you would breathe in and you'd breathe out, and you would breathe into a count of 4 and you would hold it for a certain number of counts, and then you would breathe out for a count of 4, and you would just listen to your breath, and that was your meditation. He also did another one where it was called a mantra meditation, where he would say a mantra like so, hum, and one of the words would be on the inhalation and one of the words would be on the exhalation, and he would say it over and over, and then he would teach you to say it in your mind over and over as you're breathing. So you're concentrating on the breathing, and you're concentrating on this mantra or this word being repeated over and over, and you're doing it very slowly. And because you're doing that, or just listening to your breathing, or listening to the person talking you through a scene, you're not thinking about all those other things that the other people were telling me they think about. You're not thinking about your to-do list. You're not thinking about, oh, I have an itch on my face, or, oh, I need to adjust my sleeve. You're not thinking about any of that stuff because you're really concentrating on what they're talking about in the guided meditation. And so that's one way that it works to kind of help you get in the habit of just focusing on your breathing or on this one thing rather than on all your thoughts. And the more you do it, the more practice you have, then you're able to do it without the person talking, and then you're able to do it on your own. So that is how it helps a lot of beginners. And some people just like it even if they're not a beginner. And so it's not just for beginners, but that is one way to get started with meditation if you're struggling. And other people do counting meditation where they count backwards from 100. There's a lot of different types that you can do, but the important thing is doing it every day. Another thing that you can do to help you build the practice is you can have an area set up in your house where you meditate each time. Now, it's not possible for everyone to do because you might not have extra space in your house for something like that. Or maybe one day you're meditating at work, one day you're meditating at home, and so it's not going to work for everybody. But if you do have a little corner of a room or a little space in your living room where you can have a little altar, a little meditation altar, you can put your meditation pillow maybe that you sit on, or if you have some essential oils that you want to get out when you do your meditation, something relaxing like lavender or something like that, you could have a little area set up in your personal space where every time you come and sit in that spot, you sit in silence and you have your 5 minutes or 20 minutes or 3 minutes of meditation. That also helps you build that habit. Now back to the time. As I mentioned, it doesn't have to be 20 minutes, even though a lot of meditation teachers talk about that. I have a friend, her name is Dina Proctor. She wrote a book called Madly Chasing Peace. And in her book, which I highly recommend, I really liked it a lot, she tells her story about getting started with meditation. And she was instructed by her therapist to meditate for 10 minutes a day. And she was having a hard time sitting still for 10 minutes a day. What she noticed was she can sit still for about 3 minutes, and then she starts getting, fidgety, or she opens her eyes, or her mind starts to race, or whatever. So she started doing 3 minutes in the morning, 3 minutes on her lunch break, and then 3 minutes before bed. So technically that's 9 minutes, but it was close enough to the 10 that she figured it was close enough so she could get away with it, and she wouldn't have to lie to her therapist. She could admit to her therapist, yes, I've been doing my 10 or 9 minutes of meditation every day. And she told her therapist, but I can't sit still for 10 minutes at once. So I've been breaking it up into 3 minutes 3 times a day. So she calls that her 3x3 meditations. And her therapist told her, that's fine. As long as you're doing it every day, that's all that I ask. And so she ended up really focusing on those 3x3 meditations. And on some of the meditation apps, you can actually find some of her 3-minute meditations. And I have done some of them, and they're great. So that's just another indication that it doesn't have to be 20 minutes. It can be 10 or 3 or less. Okay. Again, doing it every day and repeatedly doing it. So just practicing. Don't worry if you can only sit for 1 minute one day, or if another day you sit for 5 minutes in silence, but the entire time you're thinking of other thoughts. That doesn't matter. As long as you're sitting or lying down and you're breathing consciously, like slowly, or in a way that's calming you down. It doesn't matter if your mind races sometimes. That's going to happen. We're a human. That's what our minds do. It doesn't have to be completely quiet every time in your mind, because it's not going to be that way every single time. Some days you're going to be more stressed out than others, and it's going to be harder, or you might not feel good that day. So there's a lot of different factors to consider. But the important thing is doing it every day, even if it's just for a little bit of time. Okay, why do we need to do mindfulness practices or meditation practices? These are some of the reasons we need to do it as humans. It counteracts stress. It counteracts degenerative disease in the body. It relaxes you. It awakens your potential. It helps you drop bad habits and engage in good habits. It gives you a new perspective on life. And it helps you participate in mindful relationships. Benefits of meditation. Think about these when I read them, and think about which ones do you want when I read them. I want you to say, yes, I want that one. Yes, I want that one. Okay, so I'm going to read you a list of meditation benefits. It improves your focus, concentration, and precision. It enhances the quality of your communication and relationships. It heightens the clarity of your thinking and your intentions. It improves your efficiency and safety at work and at home. It deepens your peace of mind and your sense of flow. It relieves you of stress. It deepens your insight and intuition. It awakens you to more authenticity, heart, soul, and caring in how you show up in life. It increases your resilience to change. It strengthens your faith, discipline, and self-confidence. Now, which one of those sounded like the ones that you want in your life? I could tell you the one that most people pick, and that's relieving stress. Because stress is responsible for so many things in our life, so many diseases and disorders and degenerative processes that go on in our body, causes more deaths. We won't even go into all of that right now, because we're going to talk about that on another show. But stress is huge for us right now in this time of our lives, with all the technology and all the fast-paced lifestyles that we have. So stress relief is one of the biggest things that people want from meditation. Your awareness is your best asset and your ultimate currency. Develop the power of your awareness. So when you think about sitting down for your meditation practice, your own personal practice. Think about these different things. Do you want to meditate every day? For how long? Be realistic. Be realistic. Don't set a goal that you know you can't keep. Don't say, I'm planning to meditate for an hour every day. That's pretty unrealistic for a lot of us because we have kids, we have jobs, we have commute times, we have all these other things going on. But if you have an hour to do it every day, that's awesome. And if you're going to commit to that, that's great. If you know that you have 5 minutes a day, most of us can squeeze a 5-minute practice into our schedule. If you know you have 3 minutes, if you don't think you have any time, then try 1 minute. What practices will be the easiest to maintain? Will it be easier to find a spot in your house where you can sit and do it every day, or will it be easier to do it lying in bed? Is it easier to do a moving meditation, meaning that you do it while you're on your morning walk or your evening walk? What are the biggest obstacles to taking up a daily meditation practice do I have? So think about what obstacles you have. For most people, they're going to say time. Everyone's rushed. Everyone has a busy schedule. For some people, they're going to say space. I don't have any personal space to myself where I can do it. So maybe you want to do it in the bath. Maybe being in the bathroom alone with the door locked is the only alone time you have. Maybe you do it when you're lying in the bath. I know my husband used to do that. He used to, that's when he had his meditation. Maybe you want to do it in your car right before you pick up the kids because you have a couple minutes to yourself. What could make an existing practice even more effective? So for people that are already meditating, what could you do to make it more effective? Could you have that designated spot in your house? Can you make one? Can you have one chair that's the only thing you do in that chair is meditate, or one cushion that you use just for that? So that was a lot of things. Those were a lot of things to think about and a lot of information at once. So if there's one thing you can take away from this episode is to designate a time and place to meditate every day, at least for 1 minute for this whole week, and see how you do. So I have a meditation book that I wrote. It's a short little ebook, and I would like to give that to you, to the listeners of the podcast. So you can go to my website, drmichele.com/meditation, and you can find it right there for free. So I hope you enjoyed this show, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye.